What's going on, guys? Mitch here. Just wanted to quickly record a long-term review video of the 2021 Santa Cruz Stigmata Cc carbon bike. Now, I have spent about 4,000 kilometers riding this so far since the fall time when I got it. And I want to just kind of walk through some of the things that I liked about it, some of the things that, could be an opportunity to change. And, I assume if you're watching this, would you buy one? So that's kind of what I'm going to go into. And, let's get started. So as you can see, I did go with the light blue color. Here's a close-up on the Santa Cruz shot, a close-up on the Santa Cruz logo itself. As you can see with that white, almost like a light pink color to it. I wish that was black. I might actually change that up and get something in the off-season here, but not the end of the world. As we can see on the top tube, this is the Stigmata Cc Badge for 2021, which you will also see on the head tube itself. You can see that red lettering, which signifies the CC variety versus the C on some of their other bikes. But in this case, the Stigmata C does not exist in its current form, nor does aluminum. Maybe down the road, who knows? The badge itself, as you can see, has a little bit of wear on it. It's kind of disappointing, but you can buy these, I think, for 20 bucks a badge or 30 bucks online. You can change it up to black writing, white writing, silver with black. It just depends whatever they have on the store. And then a quick shout out, obviously, to the Bike Cafe where I got this guy. I think they got a sticker on the back here. There it is, Bike Cafe. That's where I got this guy in Canmore. So the frame itself does have a couple different offsets for that fork, which kind of depends by size. So in the 52 and 54 centimeter frame sizes, you get, I believe, a 50 mil fork offset. And in the 56 and up sizes, this frame being a 60, you get a 45 mil fork offset. All the cables on the frame are internally routed, which is awesome. Cuts down on aerodynamics as well as keeps the bike quiet. All the internal routing as well. It has that built-in Santa Cruz track system, so you're not looking for cables inside the frame. One thing that I might change, this guy down here, this is the top of the bottom bracket shell. It's got a little hole, likely for internal cable routing to go to the front derailleur. I kind of don't have any plug for this. I don't know if it fell out or if it ever had one or came with one, but kind of wish I had something there to protect the frame and keep water out. This is the non-drive side cable routing, so I've got, I believe, the rear brake going in here and the rear shifter cable in this 1x setup. As well below it, you can see the front brake line that goes into the integrated spot on the fork. The front brake line goes right down through the fork and out the bottom to the front brake. Now on the fork itself, as well as on the frame, we have these built-in accessory mounts for fenders. This is just above the front axle there. You can see that it has, this guy would be for the fender on the front. And then as well on the back, we can see the rear mount for accessories just above the 12 by 142 mil through axle dropout beside the derailleur cable there. And then this, another close-up of that rear accessory, as well as the internal routing through the chainstay on the rear derailleur cable. So nice and quiet, doesn't rattle, nothing like that, although it might look like it can, but it doesn't. If that really is a bother to you, you could always run a little bit of tape there to kind of quiet that down if there is anything like that would exist. So we do have an Easton 27.2 mil aluminum post here, as we can kind of see. One of the main things that some people do have some concerns with being a 27.2 mil post is, well, why isn't it bigger? It's simply put, to reduce the vibrations. Thinner post acts like more of a noodle in that it will sort out some of those vibrations, which do happen on a cyclocross or on a gravel ride. So I did go with the Sram Rival Build on this guy, 1x11 with a 42 tooth top ring on the cassette. Now with 4,000 kilometers on this bike and I think 2,500K on the Kona, haven't had any issues with the Rival 1x11. Here's a quick close-up on the cassette. Real world riding, like I said, 4K on it so far. I know it's going to need replaced in that 5-6K range. If you guys have any suggestions on what drivetrain I should put on this guy next, leave it below. I'd love to hear feedback on it, but as far as this one is concerned, it's been great. The Easton crankset that's on here, the EA90, has been awesome. 40 tooth front chainring. I might actually bump that up to a 42 this year, depending on frame size that I can actually fit with that front chainring, but no issues. The chain hasn't dropped once, especially loading it under power, which is awesome. And then, like I said earlier, if there's something that you guys suggest I should put on here, leave it below. Now we are dealing with a standard Easton cockpit, aluminum stem, aluminum bar. I'm probably going to want to change this out at some point. I feel the stock bar is a little wide for me. It's a little kicked out. I'd like to go a little narrower because I've got narrower shoulders. But you know, for what it is, it's a 60 centimeter frame. It's got a 120 mil stem. I'd probably like to go down to a 90 personally, to kind of bring the bar back a little bit and maybe drop it down a little bit. But you know, it's solid, nothing too crazy. It's a standard aluminum bar, nothing to really see here. The Sram Rival levers have been great, nothing too crazy. I like how this guy kind of flexes with the lever itself, which is awesome. So if you haven't ridden double tap, it's pretty cool. So one click will go down a gear, another click will bring it back up. Or if you want to do the 2-in-1, you can hear the double. It's pretty easy and intuitive to use once you get a hang of it. The bar tape on this guy, I don't know what it is, but I really, really like it. Definitely cut above of what you get on a standard, you know, giant Trek Specialized kind of bike. I have a feeling it's a little bit better here, so definitely recommend this stuff. I think it might be made by Velo something, but good stuff. That's going to be needing replaced probably in the spring as well. These WTB I-23 rims, or I believe it's under the WTB EZR series, I-23 rims set up tubeless right from the factory with Santa Cruz. They've been flawless. You know, they're a little on the portly side. They're 23 mil internal, so nice and wide for the 40 mil tires. Haven't had any issues with them, and nice and good at absorbing trail vibrations, and you know, being that middle ground for tire size. If you want to run down to a 32 or up to a 45, whatever, these rims will allow it, which is awesome. These Maxxis Ravager tires, 700 by 40, they're okay. My front tire sealed up great. The back tire, I've had issues with it. The tread's worn out really, really bad. I'm constantly getting leaks out of it. It's just been okay. I'm going to go myself. My next set is going to be a set of Gravel Kings. But, you know, for Maxxis's first attempt at a gravel tire, this as well, the Ravager and the smaller one, the Rambler, they're just okay. Nothing crazy. I'd say like a 7 out of 10 kind of tire. The DT hubs themselves, they're the 370, so this model does not have the star ratchet internals on the engagement mechanism, so it's a simple Paul system. They've been okay. I've read reviews online that state they're not the best. But as far as, you know, the sound, they're nice and loud. Hopefully you can hear this. So, you know, they sound good, but I am expecting a replacement at some point, either bearing-wise or possibly go to something different. Any suggestions on that? Leave it below. So both the front and rear wheels do come with Maxxis skewers. If you do want to change those out to save some weight, you certainly can. That's not a big issue. So here's the back one. And here's the front one. I haven't had any issues with them, but if you do want to save a little bit of weight, you can get rid of that that lever with a different, it might be called Maxxis Light or something, I don't know, look it up, but there's definitely weight to be saved if that is important to you. Despite my issues that I've had with SRAM brakes on mountain bikes, these have been awesome. No issues, haven't had to bleed them once, consistent lever feel, and really, really good quality brake. The pads have lasted, no issues there. They are super easy to replace. I believe they're top loading as well, which is awesome. Top loading meaning that you can take pads and load them in without taking the wheel off on this side. So haven't had any issues, and highly recommend these guys for what they are. So as we can see here, I did go with some S-Works specialized water bottle cages, 2 in the inside of the front triangle as well. You can put one beneath the bottom of the down tube, which is fantastic. I have had to put a third one on there in the summer when you are going for a longer distance between stops, which is awesome and helpful to have, which I really enjoy, and I'm glad that this bike has this. So who's this bike for? Is it a cyclocross rider's bike? Is it a gravel rider's bike? Or is it a mountain biker's road bike? I can't answer that for you. What I can answer is say this. I'm a mountain biker. I'm getting into gravel. I have this bike and it's phenomenal. The geometry is relaxed. It's comfortable. The component spec is fantastic. It's soft where it needs to be and supple with vibration damping from the narrow seat post, as well as the aluminum wheel set and large volume tires. As well as great power transfer for when you want to put down some power and get up to speed. The gearing itself I thought might be an issue, being a 1-by with a 40-tooth chainring up front. It's not an issue at all. It's fantastic. No quorums, no issues whatsoever, and I would highly recommend people to go with that. Now, can you convert this to a road bike? I absolutely think you can, and I think it would be fantastic at it if you had better gearing. To be a road bike, either you can't have the bottom end gearing of a gravel bike, or you got to put a 2-by on this. It just won't work with any other way of doing it. So for me, if I want to convert this to a road bike, I would probably put a bigger chainring on it and a smaller back cog on the rear end, and probably convert it to a different wheel set with some 30C tires or 28C tires, something narrow, fast, and it really becomes 2 bikes in one. What I would kind of say on this bike that is different from some of the ones around it is that it is a little more expensive than the Aspero or line price with a Hack MX, but it's a Santa Cruz, and you are paying more for that name, just like you would with any other Santa Cruz bike. So what it kind of comes down to is, what kind of rider are you? Buy the spec that you want that's going to help you use this bike for what its intended purpose is, and that's gravel, cyclocross, light road, depending on build. But it's a super solid bike, a lot of great features. I would say it's kind of one of those bikes that are right in the middle of the road of this segment. They're not doing anything too aggressively. They're not doing anything, by cutting corners. It's right in the middle. I'd say it's like vanilla ice cream for geometry. It's vanilla ice cream for its intended purpose. So that's kind of up to you. What I do find that I think it can do really well is everything. So if you want it to be your gravel bike, or if you want it to be your road bike or your cyclocross bike, just spec it and kit it, and it's more than capable of doing that. It's light enough, it's stiff enough, yet supple enough, with ample tire clearance to make it whatever you want it to be. So what would you change on my bike? What would you change? What do you think? Is this bike for you? Let me know. Leave a comment below and let's chat. For me, I'm really, really enjoying this bike, and I'm looking forward to putting even more mileage on it for next year. It's one of the very few bikes I've had in a long time, other than the Tallboy, that I've fallen completely head over heels in love with, and I don't want to change it. It's that good. The biggest problem right now is they're hard to get. That's it. So as supply gets better, and as more components become available and they start releasing more of these bikes, supply is going to get better, and it's not going to be a 6-month lead time. But for what it is, I think this is a great bike. I think Santa Cruz knocked it right out of the park, and I definitely see them building on this, likely next year with a new model, and probably a very subtle way, because it doesn't need much. It's light, it's stiff, it's supple, it's awesome. Great durability. Haven't had a single issue with it, with 4,000 kilometers on it. So to me, it's a home run. What do you guys think? Let me know. And that's it for me today. Any questions? Talk to me, guys. All right. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.